Okay, this next demo is on the football cards and how to get started on them. So we're looking at the handout here, and you can see we're going to create 4 football cards with 4 different players. We have the players' names, their position, and their numbers. And then you notice we have a lot of things that repeat over and over again, like the Steeler banner, Pittsburgh, logos, things like that. So anytime we have anything that repeats over and over again, we'll build it on the master page. Now, before I go to the master page, we want to take a look at the first name and last name. Once you get one of these put in here, these are the specs for all 4 players, for the first name and for the last name. So once you get one of them in here, it's very easy just to copy and paste them into the other text boxes and then just retype the names. That way all the specs will come along with it. So as I said, this is a master page assignment, so we'll take a look here. This is everything that goes on master page A. You must build this on the master page. Okay, this is not optional. If you do not build it on the master page, you will have to redo it or you'll get a 0. Simple as that. We do not ignore these things. Now, we'll take a look at it. You can see the size. It's 2.61 by 3.57. Okay, and there's no margin, 0, 1 column, and no facing pages. So we're going to go ahead and make our new document. First thing you're going to do though is download the football cards folder from Blackboard, make a copy of your project folder with your name on it, and put all the files in the proper place. So we have a font Orator goes in the font folder, all the images go in the raster folder, they're all Photoshop files, and the handout goes in the working folder. So you want to go ahead and do that. And remember, always set up your file management first. If you build a document, then set up the file management, it will break all your links. So always do the file management first. Things will go a lot smoother. Okay, so basically you want to make a new document. And I'm just going to start off hitting Command N. And as I said, facing pages are off. This is a single page document. And the width is 2.61. The height is 3.57. It is 1 column, okay? Facing pages off, and the margin is 0. So there's our 0 margin. Got our size, everything's good there. So we'll go ahead and okay it. There's our blank document. And the first thing you want to do when you make your document is go into your page panel and make sure you are on the master page, not on page 1. And what you do is double click, and then it tells you, if you look at the bottom left, it'll say A master. Very important that you build it right there. Okay, so let's take a look at our handout again. So on this master page, you're going to make a series of picture frames. You can see picture frame 1 is the big one that goes around the outside of the card. It has a 4-point black rule on it. Okay, it's the exact same size as the card. Okay, so that's, you can do it by the numbers. The second one is this picture frame up here. Okay, it's the same width as your document and a 1/2 inch deep, and that's where you place your Steeler banner. The third one is this outside box with the Steeler gold on it. Okay, and then there's an inside one. This is the one that you actually paste the images into. Okay, that's your 4th picture frame. Okay, your 5th one has the Steeler logo. It's scaled at 40%. Okay, and then you have a text frame down here. Actually, 2 text frames for first and last name, and then a text frame for their position, like quarterback. You're also going to put these ruler guides on here, which is an 1/8 inch, 0.125, a 1/4 inch, and then 3/4 of an inch, 0.375. So you want to do that first before you start to make your frames. So the other thing you need to do is create this Steeler yellow, and we'll take a look here, and all that is 100% yellow and 6% magenta. Okay, that will create your Steeler gold or Steeler yellow. Okay, so once you have that made, then you go ahead and start with your picture frames. And The first one's real easy. You can just make a picture frame anywhere, and we'll put a black stroke on it. We'll crank it up to 4 points, and then we'll use our control panel for the position and the width and height of it. So I have my upper left reference point here. So I'm going to go into my X, and I'm going to go 0, and then tab it to Y and 0. I'm going to tab over to the width, and that is 2.61, same size as the card. Tab to the height, and that is 3.57, and hit return. And that is my first picture box. Make sure you do these in the proper order, because this needs to be behind all the other ones. If you do them out of order, it'll be hard to select them, because something like this would be on top of it. Okay, so make sure you do them in that order. So that's on master page A. You start off with there, and then you're going to build what we see here. And if we look at our handout again, make sure you follow these for your width and height of your cards. It doesn't really give you X and Y's. You just use this as a layout to position them. You definitely want to put these ruler guides in here, because that'll help you a lot with the position of here. But you can see you have 2 picture frames here. It's going to have that Steeler yellow on them. Okay, this is Orator type, and to get this type to stack like this, you just put a soft return after each line, and then it'll stack, and then it is center alignment. Okay, this is the Orator font that you need to load. So if we take a look at our master page here, okay, I'm on the master, and you can see here's my outside. Get my tools here. Cancel that. So we have our outside. Do it here. Okay, and that's picture frame 1. You can see 0, 0 for your X and Y, 2.61 by 357. Okay, that's the first picture box. The second picture box is here. It's 0, 0 for your X and Y, 2.61 the width of the card, and 1/2 inch for the height, 0.5. And that's where you bring your banner into. Okay, this is your text box for the word Pittsburgh, and basically you're just going to center that in this area. Okay, you can see how it's centered in there. And also, if we hit Command B, text frame options, you will do vertical justification center. Okay, if it was at the top, it'll look like this. You want to have that on center, and that'll be centered right in there for you. Okay, here's the logo, and let's get out of preview. Okay, and you can see where the picture box goes. It lines up with this guide and this guide. And if we look at the size, it's 40%, and it's centered in there. And to center it in that picture box, you can just go Object, Fitting, and Center Content, and it'll center it right in there for you. Okay, these are the text boxes for the players' names, and here's the position one. Okay, so once you have this all set up on the master page, you're just simply going to drag 3 more master pages down. Okay, so I have 4 of them in there. And then you can just go to each one and start to apply your text. As I said, once you have this first one figured out, you can just copy and paste the text, Command C, copy. Remember, you have to unlock these. Whenever you build something on the master page, it needs to be unlocked. So that's Shift Command click. You can get in there and paste it, and then just retype the names. Okay, that'll make it real easy for you because you already have all the formatting figured out there. So you do that. Once you get that all set up with the names in place, the next thing is to start to bring the images in with the players. So what I'm going to do is unlock this text box here, or this picture box that is, with my selection tool. Shift Command click will unlock that. And then I'm going to hit Command D. And I'm going to navigate back to my folder. I'm going to get Big Ben. And he goes in there pretty much same size. Okay, so he's pretty easy. He's pretty much done there. Actually, I put him on the wrong page. Let's get him out of there. So we'll do this. Make sure you're placing him on page 1. So I'll try that again, Command D. And I'm going to get Big Ben. And he drops right in there. Make sure you're on high quality display. Okay, so he's nice and sharp. And you're also going to create the numbers. Okay, and you can see that on the specs. Right here, it'll give you the specs for the player's numbers. Once you make one of the numbers, you just option drag the text box for the drop shadow. Okay, so that should be pretty good. All right, so back on our document. So we got Ben in there. So we go to the next one. Need to unlock. Shift Command click. Unlock that picture box. Command D. And next I want to get James Conner. Okay, now he obviously needs to be reduced. So remember, if you just look for the donut and click. And you can click and drag, but I'm going to try 73%. Works pretty good. You can drag it too. And you just need to move him into position. As long as he fits in there, basically matching the layout on your handout. Okay, there's James Conner. Go to the next page. And looking for TJ Watt. Need to unlock this picture box. So it's Shift Command click. And then Command D. Going to get Watt. Okay, and he's obviously needs reduced. So you look for the donut, or you go to your direct selection tool. Oh, there we go. Couldn't see it. The brown bounding box is so big, it wasn't showing up. So I got it selected. And Watt, try 55% on him. Remember, if this link is on, you can just hit return. It'll do both at once. And then we're going to move him into position. Okay, that works. And the last one is Juju. So I need to unlock his picture box. Shift Command click. Command D. And we'll get Juju. He's another one that's really big. You can see the brown bounding box is way out here. He's going to come down at 45%. Like I said, you can do it by the numbers, or you can just shift drag and just match the layout. And there's his image. And that looks pretty good. Okay. Another thing you can do on this is once you get, so you get Ben's numbers figured out here, you can just select them both. Command C, copy. You can go to the next one. And Command V, actually not Command V, but edit, paste in place. It'll put it right in the perfect position. And then you just retype the numbers. Okay, you will have to pull these apart to do that. Okay, 30. And then we just put them back together. And just nudge them into position. Okay, so that's our 4 football cards. one thing I want to point out is this Orator font has changed. And you notice these are all big caps, little caps on the last names, which is fine. When you look at your handout, you might notice that Big Ben, his last name is in lowercase. Don't worry about that. Just do the upper and lower, the small caps version like the other ones, and you'll be fine. So that's it for creating the cards. Remember, you must build all this stuff on the master page first. Makes it go a lot faster instead of doing this 4 times over. So remember, build it on the master page, follow the specs, and then place the images and the text in the other pages once you drag them down. And that is how to start the Steeler football cards.